And we are live, Bead Maker and Coffee post-SEMA edition. 3 days into, I think we can just call it recovery for the trio today. Been a great weekend, and we are back live from SEMA and all our world travels. Dave has been places, Sydney's been places, and so have I.
Man, have we?
Sydney Breakwin, and the chemist, the maestro of the mix tank, Mr. Dave Phillips.
Yes. Yep. Welcome back.
Good morning. Good morning. And first, before we start the show, I do want to say happy Veterans Day to everybody, and especially our own Keith DeClessy. So don't want to miss that just in case. I know a lot of us have the day off. Some of us don't. So happy Veterans Day. And look at the background.
We trade our Veterans Day off for the day after Thanksgiving so that
nice. Yeah.
Vacation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it does diminish, noticing that it's a big holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's, you like to remember veterans and stuff. So, yeah.
For sure.
It's a big day.
Yep. Mike had the day off, thank goodness, because he went and got me coffee, but my kids both have school. So,
we'll send him over here.
So, yeah, I will send him your way. So we, what a crazy week. I don't even know where to start. We made it. We made it. That was the great part. So SEMA was great. I see a lot of people coming in the comments that were there. We had an absolutely amazing week. So we started with setup on Monday, and then the show goes Tuesday through Friday. Friday's a little bit shorter of a day and a little bit quieter of a day, but man, Monday or Tuesday through Thursday was a whirlwind, absolute whirlwind. But I thought it was so great. We had great visits in the booth, lots of people, a lot more people than I was expecting. And it was just a fantastic week. Got to connect with all of our industry friends and got to meet a lot of new people, a lot of you that are in the comments. We got to meet a lot of you who came into the booth and introduced yourselves. And that was I thought it was great. What do you guys think? I thought it was absolutely great.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I've, finally gotten to the point where, I'm not really great with faces and stuff. So I've finally gotten to the point where I'm recognizing and remembering a lot of the people, and it's fun. Plus tell, new people, new things. I just thought, it was pretty fun. I think, running into, international people is always amazing.
Yeah.
People that come up and have never, you've never met or never met me. That sort of stuff is always really fun. I always have to kind of dance around a little bit, trying to figure out whether whether I know them or not. But a lot of times they just come up and said, "Oh, it's so great to meet you." And people are so enthusiastic. It's fun.
Yeah. It was super great. It was super great. How'd it go for you, Keith?
I'm more out.
Like always, yeah.
For sure. I think some of it is I don't visit as much because I'm really trying to sit down and work with folks who want to do business with PNS and Team P&G. So sometimes I miss out on just catching up with old friends, and I felt that way with a lot of folks. As I saw them in the booth, I said hi, but I didn't really get to have a conversation with them. So I got some catch up to do. But Joey, what I can tell you about the SEMA exhaustion syndrome is just keep going enough, and you'll get over it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it was great in the booth, by the way. That was fantastic to get Joey to SEMA, which was awesome. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing with SEMA is, for us, it's a twofold thing, right? We go to grow the business and know people, but we also go to just connect with our, if you will, our best customers. And really, our best customer isn't the one who spends the most, although we really love them. It's our best customers, the folks that we have the best relationship with. And we just lucky. We're blessed. We have a ton of those folks who are part of Team PNS in so many ways and in all different ways. So that's always the cool part. And I'm putting Alex up here because, you missed it. But Get with Joey, he'll fill you in.
Yep. Alex says, good morning. What a week it was. Major FOMO. Alex, we're going to make sure you're there next year. Even if we have to come kidnap you. We're going to make sure you're there. Joey Birdski.
I would only add for your SEMA exhaustion. We always, have Swirl Killer coffee.
I was going to say that too, Swirl Killer coffee. And then I was also going to say Bristol is channeling her inner Joey. She's out back there. So funny if you see her. She's all like melted into the couch back there. So funny.
She went full Bristol though. She is fully present.
So. Yep. All right. Joey says at Scott Graves, good morning, my friend. I'll give you a call later. I've got a medical appointment this morning. Probably for some like liquid IV or something, right? He needs to find something to cure his exhaustion.
Well, hey, he broke his rookie. So he's broke in as a rookie. So now he's.
Dude, I remember my rookie year at SEMA. It was rough. Rough. Lindsay Rose. Good morning, PNS family. Lindsay was in the house a couple times. That was awesome.
And we'll be in her house on Friday. So that's going to be really cool. Be there down there for the weekend. So.
Yep. So let's talk about that real quick, because the one thing we didn't mention was we released a new product every single day of SEMA, including Monday setup day. So that added a whole nother level of fun for us, right? So we released a new product every single day. So if we go through them, and I only have one sitting right here because I just cleaned my shoes, but Express Wipes came out on Monday, which we were so excited about. Those were a huge hit at SEMA. Lots of reactions to them. People loved them. Everyone was cleaning their shoes.
Yep.
We used them to clean up the booth. They were great. We gave them to, Flex and Rupes and Dynabraid to clean up all their tools and things like that. So those were a big hit. I am so excited about those. And then Tuesday,
having white furniture in the booth, right?
Yep.
So they would pick up little hand smudges and
they were great. They were awesome. So we had them handing them out. They were great. I think somebody spilled something on their clothes and wiped it up, which is they're awesome. Then Tuesday we released Stout, which is our new ceramic coating. Super excited about that. It's a long-term coating. And just, today's technology. So just, much friendlier install, much easier wipe off, really, really durable, extreme hydrophobics, immediate gratification for the customer. And so all the things that are, today's technology. So we're super excited about that. Wednesday, we had Reflect, which is a new SiO2 based glass cleaner finisher. That is going to be a great one. I'm super excited about that. And then Thursday was the Free Ride Wool Pad, which has the blueberry interfacing. That one's very cool. That one's available immediately. And then Friday we had Glacier, which is a new scent in our fragrance line. So we are super excited about that. And as you can see in our background, one of the biggest hits of SEMA week was we had a fragrance bar. So we had all of the PNS fragrances out, diluted, ready to go, with little perfume strips. And so people could smell them how they were actually supposed to be. And that was a big hit. That was a lot of fun. And everybody got to smell the new Glacier. So
first of all, the presentation of that was amazing, right?
So
and then your fragrance paper strips to test it, I liked how we were giving you a bad time about, waving them. Pretty soon I noticed it's like, oh yeah, that's what everybody does. They spray it and wave it and then they test it out.
I was laughing on Friday because I was kind of sitting back at the table in a meeting, and I kept seeing there was a whole bunch of girls that kept coming in and they were spraying them and waving them. And I just kept laughing and smiling to myself in the meeting. And I couldn't be rude and be like, I'm laughing at the girls waving their strips. But it was just like reminding me of everybody, giving me a bad time. And like every single girl would wave it. And I was like, yes.
You know what? I was
so funny.
They all smell great. But, what's funny is that when people took the leather one and sprayed it, I was amazed at how much it just permeated the area around as well. It was because it's not that strong of a fragrance,
right?
But what happened was it would just, they'd spray it on the thing, and you'd be standing next to them, and you go, you'd pick that one up really quickly. I would have thought some of the more brighter fragrances would have done that more.
Yeah.
But the leather just really stood out a few times when I was standing there.
Yeah. That was great. Everybody loved that. And it was, I was, worried slightly going into it, was it going to be overpowering in our booth and all of that? And it really wasn't. Like, they stayed on the paper, and it, nobody was offended by the scents or anything. And so it turned out to be a lot of fun, and they looked so adorable. So I'm sure we'll wait. Somebody in the comments will ask the question that we all dread. So we'll let that come up naturally on its own.
Well, and somebody loved our fragrance bar so much they absconded with one of our fragrances. So
they did. They stole the strawberry lemon, but I did ship a new pack of bottles to PNS that arrives today, so that you guys can remake the strawberry lemon one for, I think it's going in Steven's shop. But anyway, so I shipped new bottles so that
that's awesome.
So that we won't be a man down when they get there. So,
well, I think Josh and I are going to go acquire those for training week next week before we get too far into the week. So
nice. Well, I shipped myself a set of bottles so that I can make a set as well, because
I think Eucalyptus Mint Tea will be the official fragrance of the training center next week. So we'll have to see how my co-host does with that. Speaking of which, Josh,
we got to.
John on the program.
Need to think a little bit about sets for the stores and stuff, and see if we can put up, a small, not huge, not for sale, but
we said that one year about a Christmas gift called Squirrel Killer Coffee, and how'd that work out for us?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's true. Fun.
Too funny. All right.
Burning through comments here, so we'll just kind of bounce through.
Joey, oh wait, go back. So Keith, here's the thing. Some people sent me a message and said, you got to read the question because we're only listening. We can't see. So we have to read the questions.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, people are driving or something. They're not watching the video.
Yep. Yeah. So Joey says, hello to the co-host with the most, Alex Dewar. So they have a new podcast. That's exciting. I think it airs on Fridays. Alex, I think the fragrance bar is my new favorite bar. That's so cute. What's funny though is how many places did we go in Vegas that they had the word fragrance bar?
Oh yeah.
I saw like 3. Yeah, it was so funny. So that was awesome. We fit right in with the Vegas theme. John Folks says good morning.
We went to that place though to take the picture of the elect, and that was like, and it's funny. I thought our fragrances were better.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know what it is? They're less offensive. They're more of like a real scent. They're not really like perfumey and all sorts of stuff in them. They're just like literally just a fragrance. I mean, Dave, you obviously know exactly what's in them, but there's no extra perfumes and stuff in them, which is it makes them a lot easier to smell.
Yeah, I have to say, when we took the picture to reflect, the place was kind of a disappointment on the fragrances. It really had lots going.
And that was like a bath fragrance bar or something. Yeah. It was an interesting place. Good morning, Sarah.
We saw Sarah in Chicago.
How awesome was that? Yeah, that was awesome.
That was great.
Yeah, which we didn't talk about Chicago. We could talk about that real quick since Sarah was there. So right before SEMA, Keith, Bob, and I went to Chicago to Car Supplies Warehouse. We filmed some videos with Jason Robert Otterness and did a class. The class was absolutely amazing. We did officially use Stout that day, but we couldn't release it because Stout wasn't out yet. But that crew was the first to use Stout, so that went pretty well. That was really fun. And the class was great. The videos were great. If anybody wants to see a really great video on the Express Interior Wipes, go to either the Car Supplies Warehouse Instagram or PNS Instagram, and there's a really great video from release day where I show Jason the Express Wipes for the first time. And it was like totally authentic. Like they were filming and I explained the wipes to him and then he could not put them down. He ran around the whole shop wiping everything. And that was 100% authentic. Like none of it was, that was his reaction and exactly what he did. So it was a really, really cool video. So definitely go check that out if you want to know more about the wipes. Travis Aldridge, good morning from Missouri. Good morning. I wonder if it's cold there. It's cold here.
So I know, are you going to do the favorite products thing or are we?
We will. Yeah. Oh yeah. We could do that now. So yeah, we don't totally
have to.
No, we totally can. I'll have to think about, I've been on the road, but I'll think about it. Alex Dewar, happy Remembrance Day to all my Canadians. Happy Remembrance Day, Alex.
Yep. So this is a kind of a global day. It's not just a U.S. holiday.
Okay.
And every country kind of has their own version of it because this is the end of World War I, which was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
I did not know that.
Ended. So, yeah, this is generally considered a global Remembrance of Veterans Day. We kind of have combined it up in the U.S., but yeah, it's a global day. So, very cool in that way. And, speaking of veterans, Mr. Medcraft, to you as well. Happy Veterans Day. He's one as well, but from the British services.
Yes, very cool. Very cool.
So,
all right.
So we have a favorite product. I think my favorite product was sleep, but we'll go
I didn't get to use it very much, but yeah. So Dave, what's your favorite product from the last
I just happened to, it's funny about this time of year, the weather starts cooling down, and I noticed that for some reason the insides of the windows of the cars all start to fog up.
Mm-hmm.
And my dash went, my windshield went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where it was like really, really annoying. But I got a chance to, use Reflect on the windshield, which is kind of and the property of Reflect that really I like the most is that it stays slippery.
Yeah.
Through the, and so, especially when you're doing something like a windshield, you get it wet, you're cleaning it off and you're reaching forward and you get to those corners and the towel starts rolling up and it drives you nuts. But what happened is it stays slippery and it makes it really easy to finish off the window.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been I also did some around the house, but that was where I really liked it. I went like, oh, thank goodness. It's, because I like everybody else, hate windshields.
Yeah. They're no fun. I'm a big fan of the Reflect. I can't wait for it to be available, which we just have to wait a couple weeks. We're waiting on labels, and I can't wait for that to come out and for people to get to start using it. I know there was a handful of people that got kind of the preview of it, and everybody just loves it. So definitely can't wait for that product to come out. And my product of the week, and not obviously that we want to pick all new products. However, like we've been using them for a while and we haven't been able to talk about them. So I'm going to have to say the interior wipes by far, because I've had these for several months. I use them all the time and I have not been able to say it. They're so great. And I think one of my favorite things about them, and a lot of people mentioned this at SEMA, that I didn't realize this was such a big deal with wipes on the market, is the linting. So that was the first thing everyone said is, do they lint? And I was like, no. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that with other wipes that linting was such a big deal. And then I could remember why I don't use other wipes. I've purchased other wipes in the past from other companies. Even like the Clorox wipes will lint. So especially if you're doing something fabric, it pulls all the lint off that, the wipe. And maybe Dave, you can tell us more about the makeup of the actual wipe that's in here, because I know there's a couple different options, but this one, it just has great scrubbing power, but it doesn't lint and it doesn't tear. So they seem to be quite sturdy as well. So like right before the show started, I cleaned my UGG boots, which are black. And you would think with any other wipe, it would just like shed white balls, right? And not a single one. So that kind of stood out to me too. But man, these wipes, I use them all the time in my shop, which was something that I was a little bit, when we first all talked about the idea, we were like, well, would detailers use these, or are these really only a consumer-based product? But I use them all the time in my shop. So getting nasty stuff out of the cup holders, quick wipes if somebody's just in for, like, I've had a couple ceramics where I'm not doing the interior, but I just wipe everything down real quick just as like a courtesy service. I use them. I know a lot of people have sent videos of using them like on steering wheels, getting like that first layer of smoker's hand or makeup off. But the biggest thing is cleaning up my shop at the end of the day. So wiping down my countertops, wiping down my tools. The tools is hands down the coolest thing, because I like to keep my polishers clean. So wiping down the tools, wiping the tops of polished bottles. like stuff that you don't necessarily want to get in your towels. So I use them for cleaning up. And then obviously the shoes is so great because I like my soles of my shoes to be white. But I mean, I use these things all the time, absolutely all the time. So I'm super excited that they're out.
I think we're going to have to, this is really good input. I have to be honest, we are the benefactor of, some wipes that were available through ATG.
Yeah.
So that is going to be some very important information that we're going to need to, start figuring out, is like, why don't they lint?
Yeah.
Because that could be really bad. We don't want to add a problem.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will delve into that and figuring out what's so great about that material.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So Dave, I got a question on, because us being detailers, right? We use products for everything they're not designed for. So we cleaned all the chrome bases to all of our chairs and stools with Reflect. And so we talk about Reflect as a glass kind of cleaner / treatment. What effect should we expect from Reflect on glass? What does it do? Why should we use it, say, and where should we use it?
Well, I think it's marketed correctly. I think calling it a glass finisher is a great way. It does have the side benefits, and I consider them side benefits of a semi-durable film on the surface. And that adds to, that, and Josh mentioned, that is I've used these things before. You get ice on your window, and then it comes off because it's slippery, semi-durable. You get the, on the outside of the car, you get the bead rolling, you get all that sort of stuff. On the inside, Sydney, I actually haven't, I know I just said as far as for the fog on the inside, but I haven't, you said you thought it has some good defogging or some fogging, but I consider the side benefits because what I really about it is that it works so well. I mean, it's like, it's so easy to use. And so it's, you have extra features, but in the meantime, it just, it's like, great, pull out a small amount. And what I mean by a small amount is like one spray.
One spray. Yeah. And
maybe
it's virtually,
two.
and it's virtually streak free, which is what I love. And that's why, it's kind of why we went down the finisher lane, is that, especially like after you wash the car, you can have some towel streaking on the inside. It's just always hard to get them streak free. But literally this product it's almost near impossible to get it to streak. So, you spread it out with one side of your towel, flip it, and then it's like so crazy slick and no streaks left behind, which, so it's truly a finisher in that way, that it just leaves the glass super shiny, super slick, and totally streak free. And then you get all the benefits of, the anti-fog. And then, what I was telling people, because I've noticed it on my own car, people love to touch the windows. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing to me. But what I've noticed is, sometimes their grimy little hands don't stick to it. So I haven't tested this theory, but I'm guessing that when the dog sticks his snotty nose next to the window, maybe it won't adhere as much and it'll wipe off easier next time. So it just leaves that nice film of protection that, not meaning nothing's going to stick to it, but it's going to be much easier to remove those contaminants the next time, which is really nice. And then same goes for the outside. It's leaving a layer of protection that is keeping things from bonding to the surface. So, when you wash your car the next time, the glass is going to get that much cleaner. So really cool. All right, Joey Balint. Oh, Keith, do you want to say your favorite? We didn't get to yours, right?
We didn't, but I got to tell you, oldie but goodie. We had a great time with Jason at Car Supply's warehouse, and the biggest thing I think was we had two hammered vehicles. I mean, hammered. And once again,
like that's putting it lightly.
In their own special way,
right.
Rehab just to the rescue again. I don't know what to say. We've said it 100 times, but Rehab.
And that was cool because we got to show Jason just privately before the class started the effects of rehab. And he had put out a video the week before saying he had just got it and was kind of wondering everybody's reaction on it. And so, he's tried everything under the sun. I mean, he's been detailing forever. He's a master, he works with some of the best in the industry. And so we got him to try it he did one spot with just a blueberry. And then he did another spot using a 2-step method, used the new free ride wool and then a finishing pad, both with Rehab. And it was a black Dodge Ram. And when I say this thing should have been thrown in the trash, it should have been thrown in the trash. It was so bad. And he was blown away, absolutely blown away. And that was fun to see his reaction. And he was like, whoa, like that's crazy. And I'm pretty sure we were doing a video, so I'm pretty sure we'll get to see his reaction on video. But it was crazy. Like, I would say the correction where he did the 2-step, the 1-step was like 85%, which is a lot. And the 2-step was 93. I mean, there was like nothing left. It was wild.
Well, my favorite part is then he goes and runs and gets the panel wipe.
Like,
Runs panel wipe. Because just intuitively, when you play with it, and Dave, not an offense here, actually a compliment.
Right.
There's got to be fillers in there because
everyone says that. Yeah, there's got to be fillers.
That was the deal. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but I did hear the story where it's like said, no, there's no fillers, and he basically didn't believe you.
Yeah, and
I thought that was great.
Yeah, he went and grabbed the strongest of strongest panel wipes, and it didn't change it a millimeter. I mean, it was crazy. So that was awesome. That was awesome. All right, let's get into questions. We got a lot of questions coming. So Fragrance Bar, or Joy Belinsky, Fragrance Bar was a highlight of SEMA. I am making my own at home. Sydney is quite the influencer. I can make everybody want this. Aren't they so cute? They're so cute back there. Joey, good morning, Bristol. Oh, she's awake. Chrissy.
Yeah, the head is up. I saw the ears.
Yeah, she looked at the screen. Joe Kimball, good morning, my friends. Great week. Did you guys ever slow down? Not really, until we passed out when we got home. And I would say I probably slowed down.
And Sydney and I walked in the door about the same time. My flight was late out of Seattle, so I walked in. Lisa picked me up at 12:45 at the airport.
Yeah, so I got home about 1:30 because I took a couple of the rag company guys home, and Alex Dewar, I love Bob's responses to certain questions at SEMA. I'm not sure on that, but have you met my brother Dave?
We have perfected in the booth about 85 ways to say, "Hey, Dave."
Hey, Dave. Yeah.
And I think it's funny because then I would get people going like, "Well, how do I get your product?" Like, have you met Keith?
Well, yeah.
It was the same thing. It's like, okay, it's definitely, or Sydney's really good at it too. But it's so funny.
So true. It was the constant dance of, let me get the right person for you. I would do really good until they'd go, how much is this? And I'd be like, I don't know a single price. You're going to have to, let's go talk to Keith. He has them all memorized. And then Bob was so funny. He's like, I just know all the part numbers. I don't know any of the prices.
Right. If you want to order it, Bob can tell you the part number.
Yeah.
If you want to know
the part number,
if you want to know how it works, go see Dave.
So
we
funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
We're specialized.
Yep.
I'll send you over to the, this specialist.
So great. So great. All right. We've got Joy Blindsey. So bummed I missed Lindsay. Oh, you did? That's a bummer. Yeah. Lindsay Rose, still a few. She's screaming. There's still a few open spots for our class on Saturday for Pacific Northwest people.
Well, it was cool. I met some folks from up in Coos Bay, and they're going to come over to the class. So Sid will
cool.
I know we've got some people, and I know Tom is working on folks. I think we'll have a full class, but look, we're not going to cap it at a number. So don't feel like it's already full. Come sign up the class, reach out to Tom, and be a part of it.
Yep. Cool. All right. Mike said, I can't wait to check out all the new stuff. The express wipes will be fantastic for the fleet of cars I manage. I leave a tub in each one for people to clean their messes up. Yes. So here's the thing, Mike. The tubs are really big. They're quite large. So you may not want to leave one in every single one, but there's 150 sheets in each one. But here's what I've been telling everybody, because I started doing this and it seems to be working great. Obviously, because everyone says, well, it's so big. Are you ever going to come out with it in a smaller packaging? Hopefully, right? That's the goal. The goal is that we burn through all these tubs and then we have to find, different forms of packaging for them. So obviously that would be the goal. And so what I've been doing, which at first I was kind of like, is this weird? But my customers have been responding very well to it. So take a nice Ziploc, which, you can look on Amazon if you don't like the regular Ziploc brand. For this, I use IKEA brand because they have like little pretty black bows on them and stuff. So I've been taking little Ziploc bags, folding them up, putting 5 or 10, and then put your company sticker over it. And you literally just say, I made this for you, and give them out to your customers. And they think it's great because then like you did something for them. So don't be embarrassed about that. Feel free to make your own little packaging and personalize it to yourself. That's what I'm doing. Everyone loves it. So in the meantime, until we can, and it's going to be a minute, until we can make them in smaller packaging. So get creative because it's going to be a minute or two.
We run out of tubs. We may have to figure out options.
I have a new idea for
a while.
Yeah, I have a new idea for 30-second to 1-minute clips. That's arts and crafts with Sydney, which is kind of how the fragrance bar came about. So I think we're going to start filming those, Sid. So first from Puerto Rico is saying good morning to, and I'm gonna flash around this, to Joey Belinsky, Alex Dewar, Scott Graves, Superado Tuesday, Mike Zucchino, Travis Aldrich, and if I get any more, I'll pop them up there. So that's taken care of. All right, Alex has a comment. Strawberry lemon scent does look like a delicious looking cocktail. So here's the funny thing, and I was surprised at this, Dave. It's clear in the concentrate, but when we mixed it, it got cloudy. Yeah.
Well, it's it's a function of the fragrances are oils, and they're a. I like that it stays
I do too.
In the finished product. But the fragrances are oils, and so what happens is there's called a microemulsion. Basically, the droplets are so small that the light waves go around the droplets, and so you can't see it. It looks clear. If you take, I'm going to geek out. Sorry. If you take certain wavelengths of light and you shine them like UV, you can actually, because the wavelength of UV is so short, you can actually start seeing the little droplets. It looks cloudy again. But when you dilute it out, you kind of break that microemulsion. In this particular case, and it makes the droplet and light gets constrained going through it, attenuate.
It was very interesting. Well, somebody out there in the universe has their very own bottle of it. So
I was actually I like the look of it quite a bit in that bottle.
So an off the grid text to the program special notice. Mr. Phillips has updated the fragrance bar picture on Facebook. So
nice.
Yeah. So Bob.
It's like the header.
I don't know what he did, but he said
that's probably what he did. Like whatever the header thing is. That's awesome. Yeah, the fragrance bar is so cute. But Bob, you're just going to make more people want them. So Joe Kimball, this is funny. He said Bead Maker and Dynamic were in the house for the week to work for the McLaren that they had in a booth. They did a daily wipe down and tire shine, but he learned a valuable lesson. Dynamic all the way over the tire to keep it shiny was a bad idea on a supercar for the SEMA parade. The tires wouldn't get traction. Yeah. So we use Dynamic to dress the tread, because in these shows they want the tread dressed as well. And we did a big old tires out at Robbie Layton's Overlander machine. But I can see we're on a supercar with no tread already, that Dynamic's going to make it pretty slippery during that parade. Yeah.
Well, which benefits, I guess, if you're trying to do a burnout, if you don't get any smoke, you'll just get wheel spin. So
yeah.
Get that going. Funny. Okay, so here's a great question.
Yeah, this is a great question. So Anna Longfield says, what products do the scents align with? So fun fact, most of them on the label, it tells you the essence of. So, for instance, the strawberry lemon says the essence of Triple S, and then it's also the essence of Rehab. It's just these were made before Rehab came out. The leathers, obviously, anything leather based that we have. So the leather conditioner and natural finish.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Coconut lime is the essence of absolute. The mango is essence of Bead Maker. And then the glacier is the essence of reflect, which obviously, so both of those came out at the same time. So the new reflect is the essence of glacier. And then the last one, which is so funny, it just says essence at the bottom because Bob didn't want to put it on there, but the eucalyptus mint tea, is it mint tea? No, eucalyptus tea is the essence of cockpit. But on the bottle, it just says essence.
Which is the reason why it just says essence. There you go.
Right.
That's the answer.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So yes, they do align with the product. Which
That's that. Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, yeah. So it's the essence of cockpit, but it doesn't say that on the label. And then Force from Puerto Rico telling Anna hello.
Not be a sales feature.
Yeah.
So funny. Oh, Aaron Layton. Sorry, I missed We're snowed in. That's awfully early.
Yeah,
for
they
that.
got a foot of snow in Denver. And hey, Aaron, great to catch up with you. For those wondering, we will have a detailing coding class with Aaron the 6th of December. So
yes.
Check in with him if you are in the area. We'd love to have you in the class.
Yes.
Well, Sydney would love to have you in the class because it'll be
Yes.
Sydney and Bob this year doing that class. So
yep. Yep. Crazy. They already got snow. And Anna saying good morning.
Lots of snow.
To Humberto.
Yeah.
Details official. Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Mm-hmm.
They spent a lot of time in our booth at SEMA. That was great to have them, and they got to have some great conversations. Josh Pierce, the candle shop where we took the reflect pictures was pretty awesome. I enjoyed the coloring of it. I liked the white and pink everywhere. It was great. But
the television version of it wasn't as good as the visual. So.
Yeah. Yep. Good morning, Joe and Sal. They were great. They'll be on the show in a couple weeks, just as a little teaser.
Everybody's saying hello to everybody. So,
Global
Veterans Day. Yes, it is. Yep.
All right. Where do the new products fit into the product line? Are any of them replacing anything? The only one that is kind of replacing something is that Stout. We still have Legend, but Legend will eventually fade away. So once we sell through Legend, Stout is taking the place of our long-term coating. So but it's not really, it's kind of replacing, but just kind of more, it will move into that space. But everything else, is a new, so the Reflect is obviously in the double black line. The Express wipes are with Express Interior in the double black line. And then the fragrance is from the fragrance line, and the free ride pad just fits right into the free ride line. So just additions to all the lines.
So we have, I'm kind of speaking out of turn, but I think this is would be a good deal. Is we have a glass cleaner that people don't really know, called Brilliant Blue. That is it Brilliant? Brilliant Glass.
It's Brilliant Glass cleaner. Brilliant Blue is the dressing. We don't want to put that on.
Brilliant Blue dressing. Brilliant Glass. It is blue, but Brilliant Glass is kind of it's a ready to use glass cleaner. I think. It seems like maybe that would be a good one to replace, and it's a nice glass cleaner, but it's not Reflect. So I think something like that would work out.
Very cool. Nice. Yeah. All right. Frederick says, "Good morning. Is Stout replacing Legend, or will it be offered alongside?" So we just kind of touched on that. For now, it will be offered alongside of it because we know there's still people that love Legend. And that's no problem. So Legend, there's no problem with Legend. It was, made 5 years ago. So it's older technology. Over the last 5 years, in the coating space, historically, the easier the coating was to apply, the thought was the lighter the coating was. And the harder it was to apply, the more solid the coating was, right? And so over the last 5 years, just technology has changed. The materials have changed to make it an easier experience on the detailers, have the effects, the deep glow and all of that, have it, act faster, shorten the time of when you can wash the car. All of those challenges that maybe some of us had have been kind of rectified with newer technology. And so Stout is just newer technology. And so for now, it will be offered alongside for those that still love Legend, but it will eventually replace it. Yeah.
So Josh used Reflect and had 2 blizzards on the way home. So apparently it was a clutch product for the week for him.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to see how it works for getting the ice off the glass. So, you know, I have 2 drivers in the house and not everybody can park in the garage. So it'll be interesting to see this year how that works on scraping windows in the morning. Yeah.
So I stole one of the new labeled bottles of Reflect and stuck it in my suitcase. So
nice. Good
I
job.
will have to do a little glass work this week before you get here, Sid, to make sure we're ready for our trip south.
Nice.
You know, things are cooling down fast.
Yeah.
Anything I noticed, I took a couple pictures over the Sierras on my way because I'm always interested in. I look down there and I go like, oh, that looks like a good place to hike, and I like to match them up to a map. It's just a little hobby. But when I looked at the pictures, I noticed that actually the lakes were all ice on the shore, and some of them were like had a layer of ice going out about halfway across the lakes.
Yeah.
So that was a week ago.
Yeah, we're supposed to get snow here on Friday, so I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, the leaves fell. I picked them up. They fell again. I picked them up, and then it started raining. And at that point, I gave up. So, and that's what we get here in Oregon. But yeah, it's cold and wet today, so it's not a fun one.
Yikes. So Joey Belinsky, the durability of the wipes really surprised me. Yes, they hold up really well. We actually had people come in the booth and try to tear them. It was kind of funny. Like, so they put them through the stress test. You know, they were like, here's all the things I don't like about wipes. You know, they dry out too fast, they tear, they lint, and people were in the booth, like trying to tear them apart, you know, playing with them and trying to make them dry. And that's the other thing about this material that's in them is they stay in surprisingly, you know, moistened that you have plenty of time to clean. I mean, you can clean an entire dashboard, an entire door. You know, so they definitely don't dry out super fast once they hit the air. So very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I would say, you know, we got a lot of questions about how long will they stay moist in the bucket and you know, I mean, our experience obviously is only about 6 months old now, but I have had that sitting in my garage in a spot that gets sun through a window. Yeah. And I've seen no difference in the wipes in that period of time.
Yeah, same.
But should it get, you know, start to dry out, you know, when you see evaporation in that situation, remember only water is evaporating.
Right.
All the active materials are staying in the. Of course, your fragrance, you might lose some fragrance for sure, but but mostly all the soaps and detergents and that sort of stuff stay in there. If you get some DI water, you can just add some more.
Yeah. Mine have been sitting in my shop since. I mean, it's been about 6 months, and my kids will even leave the top popped open. And like, I know, and like the tip of that top one will dry out a little bit, but once you pull it out, the bottom is, you know, the same. And I've noticed no drying out at all. I mean, I'm still on my first batch and I'm almost through it. And they're right at about 6 months old and they've stayed great the whole time. So these tubs are obviously very locked down and it's been great. Yeah. Turbo 6 Detail says, good morning, fam. Good morning.
And then Superado says good morning. So there you go.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Ron, it would be amazing to get those small sample fragrances just to see what we like. Yep, it would be.
Carl, you're not going to win the argument to get the sample sizes.
Well, here's the deal. So let's explain why, because I had to explain this a million times while we were there. So the problem would be is once they're diluted, right, then you probably would want to use them within a certain time frame. So they come as a concentrate. And if we diluted them, we would have bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles of fragrances everywhere. And so it would just be it would be kind of a nightmare to have all these little bottles everywhere, and especially sample sizes. And Dave can probably speak more to how fun it is to make sample sizes. But when you get into like the packaging, it's not really that. I think because people think that those little bottles would be like $3. No, they would have to be like 8 because you have to pay for the packaging. So the packaging doesn't necessarily get any cheaper, or the labor to fill them or to dilute them. So PNS has never really done sample sizes because it's not cost effective. And so we look at it and go, we'd rather you spend your money and get enough to make a gallon, right? And then you can make the sample sizes yourself. So here's my suggestion, and this is what we've talked to Bob about, is making the labels available. So I think that's what we're going to do, is make the little labels available where people can buy the whole set of labels, and you can make sample sizes to your little heart's content. And all of the bottles now are readily available on Amazon. You can do plastic ones, you can do glass ones. These happen to be glass. And so then everybody can tailor it for their business. Because inevitably, if we sold glass, people would say, I wanted plastic. You see the problem there. So everybody would want 2 ounce, or they'd want 1 ounce, or, so this way we'll make the labels available, and then you can make the sample bottles, for your shop or for your customers, or however you want to do that. But that's probably going to be the most efficient thing for all of us involved, because filling little sample bottles is, right, Dave? It's not really.
Yeah, we've, traditionally not done a lot of samples. I mean, historically, the return on sample is, is questionable. It's really hard to go back and find out how well they worked. And, the bottom line is we've always guaranteed our product. If you come back to it and say, I think this stuff stinks,
right,
give your money back.
Yeah.
It's kind of simple as that.
Yeah. So just to keep things simple and the way that we already do it, diluting it and selling it ready to use that would just be difficult. So we're going to make the labels available so everybody can make their own, which will be great. And then it keeps it really clean, and then you can choose your bottles. And that's the beauty, is you used to have to go to it used to be hard to find empty bottles like this, but you can find every shape, size, color, gold tops, black tops, white tops, however you want to identify your shop and your business. This is your chance to be creative and make it your own. So we will be making labels available. So don't worry, it'll be fun. Frederick says, as a mobile detailer in Florida, the biggest problem I have with window cleaning is in direct sunlight or hot windows. Most products just immediately streak or smear. How is Reflect in direct sunlight? We used it for a solid week in Monterey. So we took samples of Reflect with us in Monterey. And from what I recall, everybody preferred it over regular glass cleaner in the sun. I think it has a little bit more working time. And, with the way you do the towel flip, you spread it and then flip it, it doesn't dry out super fast. And Dave, does that have something to do with the actives in glass cleaner? The glass cleaner evaporates pretty fast, and this doesn't necessarily flash and evaporate like, say, TrueView, right?
So it's kind of a process of getting it to evaporate in an orderly fashion. You don't want it to start. You want it to evaporate like it and stay like film like, so that it doesn't all heat up. I mean, you've all used glass cleaners where you're wiping them down, and all of a sudden you wipe it, and then all of a sudden they start beading, and then you got to clean up the beads and that sort of stuff. So there is a process of making the glass cleaner evaporate in an orderly fashion. But I think what makes it easy to use in the sun is the slipperiness.
Yeah.
Even if it does. Even it does kind of dry out, what happens is in all glass cleaners, there are ingredients in there that are supposed to, help you make that orderly evaporation process. But a lot of times when they get down to the very end, they get a little sticky. So in this case, the ingredients that do that don't get sticky. So even in the sun, you have this option to just keep wiping, which is not.
Yeah, so I think it's much easier in direct sun. I mean, I don't remember having any problem while we were at Monterey, which we are literally in direct California coast sun the whole week. So it should help you for sure.
Yep.
Michael Hill, good morning, crew. Good morning, Michael. That was great. We had him in the booth for a little bit too on, I think, Tuesday morning. That was awesome. I like this. Joy Valinsky. Rehab, saving vehicles from the trash since 2024. Don't throw them away. Oh, Turbo 6. Rehab is my favorite for paint enhancements because of how fast it cuts. Such a good scent too. Yes. So nice. Anna, Joey, and Alex, when does the new pod drop? I think it started 2 weeks ago. I want to say this Friday was their second episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check it out. They are on YouTube. Joey, the handoff is a wonderful skill to know in the PNS booth. Yes. A handoff of finding the person with the answer.
Yeah, Joey
was correct.
I mean, he was stepping right in there.
Yeah. Yep.
We had a
Right
little visit before he started, and I said, "All right, you ever worked at trade show?" He said, "Well, I worked in retail." I said, "You're gonna do great."
Yep.
So, yeah, Joey was all over it. He was on top of it, and I appreciate actually to all the team members from the Monterey teams who were special guests in the booth. Thank you guys. You guys were great. It's great to have people who really use our product on a daily to sit there and visit with our customers. Because they can give real authentic answers. And that was super cool to have them in the booth this year.
Those are the best, right? When you ask somebody a question and they go like, "Oh, here's what I did with it." Those are awesome.
Well, and we didn't mention that. So the whole week we had volunteers from our Monterey teams over this year and years past. We had team members with us all week. So they kind of had rotating shifts. And, they wore their McCall's shirt, and that was really great to have them in the booth, so that we did kind of have that, detailer perspective and, faces that people recognized and stuff. So that was really nice. So definitely a shout out to our Monterey team, those of you that worked with us in the booth and, gave us that extra helping hand and directing people, much appreciated. So that was really fun to have them with us. All right, Turbo 6 Detail says, Anna, it's live. Look up the Detail Grind podcast on YouTube. Yes, I think they've had 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah. We have Angela with us from Seattle.
Yep.
Good morning, Angela. Alex, I think the wipes are great to keep in your car for everyday cleanups. I would agree, but the container's pretty big. I don't know where you'd put it in your car, but I like them in the little Ziploc for sure.
I just seatbelted into the back seat. It'll be fine.
True. Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah. That would be great. I do use them inside my personal car every single day though, for sure. Like right when I get home from coffee, because my coffee shop puts a dollop of whipped cream on top of my coffee. So every day when I drive home, it slides off onto the center console. And so every single day now, literally, I get home, immediately jump out, grab a wipe up the whipped cream, throw it in the trash, and go on about my day. It's like my new routine every single day. It's great.
I gave my tub up because I took it to the new product showcase. We put it into the SEMA new product showcase this year. So we will see if we win an award. See if we can get our second award on the board there. So.
Nice. All right. Anna says, thanks, Steve. I'll be looking it up on all platforms after this. It means the Detail Grind. Oh, yeah. Only on YouTube at the moment, working on the others. Very cool. I'm going to have to go listen to Friday's episode. I was on a plane, half dead. So I was on this last Friday. Yeah, Joey. This has been a topic of discussion. I used Dynamic for the first time yesterday. Y'all been holding out on me. Joey, I've been screaming about Dynamic from the rooftops forever. Nobody was
even when it wasn't there.
Right. Yeah. Even when it wasn't there. Yeah.
I just think it took a while to waft up to his level for him to hear.
Yeah. And then I saw another comment coming about Dynamic, which cracks me up. So Anna, subscribe. That's awesome.
See, we're helping grow other people's podcasts. How's that?
Yep. Kron says, how long does Stout last? Dave.
Yeah.
You met our brother Dave.
As we know, we don't like to put years on these things. Nope. But our a good solid 5 years, assuming you don't beat the holy heck out of your car.
Yeah.
Or do what is the brush pinstriping.
Yes, the pinstriping. So yes, so Cron, it is going to be our long-term coating. So we don't like to give dates and times because it's all very subjective on what state does the car live in, what's the manufacturer of the car, how many miles does it have on it, what color is it, how often does the person go to the car wash, does it live in a garage? There's so many different factors that go into not only coatings, but any protection really that you leave on it. And so if we're talking like a non-daily driver that, lives in a garage, like let's take my Mini Cooper, for instance. It's a 2004. It's old. It has 130,000 miles on it. However, it now resides in the corner of a garage and barely ever leaves the garage. So for that car, it's going to last forever. It's going to last the next 30 years, until it goes to the car crusher. But like my Jeep that drives every day, I maintain it. It lives in the garage. I hand wash it. It might last, 7-8 years. But if it's like a work truck that lives outside and it lives in, a super sandy area, super salty area, it goes through the car wash 3 times a week, it might last 5 years. So you really want to, what I do with my customers is I give them kind of a time range based on their specific car. So I don't really tie it to the coating. I give them an estimate on how long I think it will last given their situation. But we don't like to make any guarantees or anything because there's just way too many variables. But it is a very stout coating that's going to last a very long time.
I see what you did there.
Okay, good.
So speaking of that, Anna has a question. What are the improvements in Stout over Legend?
They want the in-depth science.
We did cover most of that, but let's rerun it.
Yeah. So essentially it's all about installation. It's all about the experience. So Legend was still a great coating, right? A great solid coating. There was no doubt about that. So the things that were improved were, the application. So it's quite a thick product, but it goes on and it's super slick. So it's a little bit interesting because it's very thick, but it's very slick. It's not sticky like honey. And so it goes on really nice and thick, but then it wipes off super easy. It is a fairly quick flash. So we're talking doing, half a panel at a time, which by the way, Stout actually hits the market on the 18th, which is a week from today. And there will be a full installation video that comes out. So don't worry about any of that. So pretty quick flash, super easy to wipe off, 2 towel wipe. The first one, you kind of level it. Second one, all the residue just buffs right off. It has a quicker cure time. So you're able to tell your customer they can, obviously they can go live life, but they could even wash it, up to just a couple days after application. It's got extreme hydrophobics. And so all the great stuff has just kind of been made easier or sped up is basically, the science behind it. A lot of it is just new technology. And, there's a lot to unpack there that we don't necessarily want to take 20 minutes right now to do that, but just basically it's all the new technology. And we just made all the things that were, not huge challenges with Legend. They were pretty minor challenges, but we just wanted it to be a better user experience, a better experience for the customer. We wanted the detailer, the installer to, have a better presentation upon delivery, and all of that. So it just rounded everything out. So, and then it is a very, very durable coating. We find that it stands up better to clogging. So it doesn't clog quite as easy. And, it seems to have, just made all of the minor issues better because of technology. So we're pretty excited about it. Christopher Taub Robertson. Good morning, everyone. Have a peaceful week. Man, we hope that too.
Yeah, we could use one. Dude, we missed you at SEMA this year, but we know Team DSI will be back next year. So,
Gary, looking forward to the wipes. You're going to love them. I'm so stinking excited about the wipes. So excited. Tim Jennings, 78 degrees in East Northern California. That sounds nice.
That's North Carolina.
Wait, Keith, go back to Matt Hornsby. That's our friend from Detroit.
Well, yeah, I just was.
Was he just saying good morning?
Versus
okay, well, I just didn't get it. Oh, yes, go Lions. I just didn't get to read his his comment. Yes, go Lions. Did you guys see the end of that game last night? That was crazy.
I watched it.
Phew, so go Lions.
Yeah. Even when you're having a bad day, you can still win. That's what
you just got to stay in it. That's what I learned. You just got to stay in it. Chad says good morning. Good morning. Anna, I am a mechanic and welder. Can you use them on metal tools and power tools? I currently use a tub of towel on my tools. I think you can use them on everything. There's definitely nothing that is going to hurt anything. So, absolutely.
Yep. I use them on my tools, Anna. So, and shout out to Flex. I have all the Flex power tools. I have hand tools. I have all that as well. Use them on everything in the shop. Pretty much counters, whatever. I even have wood bench tops that have, polyurethane on them, and they wipe down fine.
Yeah. Chad, so many things to grab this month as you launch them. Perfect for tax time. Yes. Yep. Notch knocker. Are the whites texture good for screen surfaces? So gosh, I'm trying to block that sun. Sorry. So the texture it's kind of hard to describe because we tested some other ones, right, Dave, that had a little bit more, quite a bit more textured, and we decided we didn't necessarily like those. So these have a good scrubbing texture, but they're actually really soft too. So I think they're perfectly fine to wipe down a screen. I mean, I use them on my stainless steel in my house, but I definitely wipe over my screen in my car with them. Now, that being said, I have a glass screen in my car. And so I think they're great. You would just want to go back over and, wipe the express off. But they're
safe for shiny plastic of all sorts. So they don't scratch. I'd say, if you were looking for something that you really wanted to scrub something with, I mean, the material holds up really well, but if you're looking for a scrubby sponge level thing, these aren't them, right? But the cleaner does a good job, and they're soft enough not to scratch things.
Yep. All right. Jose says, I love the 3-step interior system. Regards from Mexico. By the way, my nickname is pronounced Compa Jeep. That's awesome.
Okay.
Alex, this is the one I was waiting for. I've had Dynamic on my neighbor's TRD wheels and tires for over 3 weeks, and it still looks like day one. Spray and walk away is an unbelievable application method. So funny background on this. So I've been doing this forever, right? Like I spray the whole wheel and tire down and I just walk away. And in a video a couple months ago with the rag company, I did it. And I looked at the camera and said, this may be the craziest thing you're going to see, but stick with me here. And Alex saw that, but he didn't trust me. And so he released a video about TRD wheels, how to take care of them. And he carefully placed the Dynamic around the tire, didn't get any of it on the wheels, and then put the video out. And I was like, Alex, you got to spray those TRD wheels, right? You got to spray them with the Dynamic and walk away. So then literally the morning his video dropped, he had that same car back and he did it and he walked away like I told him to. And he came back and he was like, how do you figure stuff out like that? Like what makes you just spray Dynamic all over a black wheel and it's fine? And I was like, that's what I do. I try to break everything. But sometimes we get these crazy, like paint gloss with the vacuum, sometimes we get these crazy hacks that work out. And so for sure, the Dynamic on black matte trashed wheels is like from heaven.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that it was one of those things that we found with Dynamic, and we intentionally did it, was created a leveling system so that it floats out and just levels.
And it's crazy.
So what's really nice in that application is that since it just levels out smoothly on the tire and it kind of stays where it is, that you give the actives plenty of time to just spread out and sit there.
Yeah, so great. So great.
And
I love it.
In some cases we add, in Dynamic we don't, but in a lot of cases we add other things to like make the gloss crazy in dressings, right? But those additives they can kind of interfere with that leveling process and they can screw it up. So in the case of dynamic, it's just really good for that. And it would be different than a lot of other dressings where it just wouldn't work.
Right. Totally. Yeah. And usually when you get dressings on a wheel, it's no fun to wipe off. But once you let it set for 10, 20 minutes, however long you want, the excess just wipes right off, but you get all the benefits. So it's really nice. So this is a question for Dave, because I'm not good with dilutions. If I did want to dilute the entire concentrate, so the fragrance, what is your best guess for the amount to add to the sample size bottle? So if we've got a 4-ounce bottle of distilled water, how much of the concentrate would he add?
You'd add a half an ounce.
Answer. Yeah, I was going to say Dave's going to have an official ounce. I'm going to have my, which is just pour
What?
some in. But I like it strong. So I only dilute because normally the dilution is 1 16-ounce bottle to a gallon of water, right? And then you have a pre-made gallon ready to go. Now, some people, which I don't disagree, because I've had the same gallons for several years now, right? It takes forever to go through a gallon. So I feel you. But the reason I did that is because I wanted the labeled pint bottles. So I have all my gallons diluted, but some of them I only did to a half a gallon because I like it really strong. So if
that would be 1 ounce.
Yeah. So if it were me, I would do I would put in 1 ounce and then fill up the other 3 ounces. So, but you can play around with it. If you end up with it too strong, just dump some out and add more water. That's kind of the nice thing, is it's pretty, you can kind of, keep tweaking it to your liking. But yeah.
So the official answer, though, is it's a 7-to-1 dilution ratio. If you put a pint in a gallon, you can put 7 pints of water in with it, and you get the official PNS dilution ratio. Yep. The Sydney Arts and Craft dilution ratio is go crazy.
Yeah. I think I'll be doing a sample bar at your shop. Oh, I think doing a sample bar at your shop for your customers would be awesome. I agree. It would be difficult to do RTU scents when you don't already. Can the dilution ratio be sample size?
On the labels.
I wonder, is it on there or not? I didn't look. I don't think so. I think because they were so small, I think it just has the dilution rate, though, is going to be on your concentrate. So that's where you're going to want to refer to, is back to your concentrate bottle. But it wouldn't be on the sample size labels, just because they're so small that when you shrink those words down real small. So my guess is the labels are already made. They'll probably stay that way, but they literally just say what the product is. So I would keep the dilution ratio on the concentrate, which it definitely is. Karen says, I have a real bad relationship with glass, so I can't wait to try it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
And staying on theme.
Yeah, Chad, less drag, less lint too. I can't wait to try the new glass cleaner. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've never noticed one single piece of lint with Reflect. It's great. Hey, Joey Belinsky, I hope you didn't step over Carlos Serrano. Hans, hit the thumbs up button for sure.
Hey, somebody is telling people to follow our program. That's good.
Yep.
We're certainly not.
And yes, we did see this. Thanks, Hans, for pointing that out. Stout means naughty in the Netherlands. Yikes. Yeah. So fun fact, we had Quentin here from the Netherlands, Patrick's son. And Hans, when you posted that, he was actually standing right next to me. And I said, Quentin, is that what Stout means? And he laughed and he goes, yeah, this is going to be a fun one for us to market. And I was like, oh, shoot. So yeah, that was pretty funny.
And we should talk about that for a second, because Dave's been through this for decades now. We come up with a product name, and we go out and do all our research, right, to make sure we're not copyright infringing and doing all those other things. And is this going to sound weird and all that stuff? And we've never really thought of ourselves as this big global brand, so we don't look outside the shores of the US. So maybe lesson learned, we should probably do that now.
I think they'll probably have fun with it. So
they'll have a great time with it.
Yeah. Gary says, what's the coolest temp you can apply a clean maker?
Practically, in the 50s is a good.
Yeah. I mean, anytime a panel is frozen, you're going to have a tough time applying anything. So yeah. Joey, you and Carlos were like me with my youngest cousin, who we are 6'8" and me at 5'5". I do believe I saw a picture of them. That was funny.
Did you see how they started the video?
No.
They started the video.
Was Joey's head cut off?
And cutting off Joey's head.
That should just be Joey's like signature, photo pose, because we've seen a couple like that, and you just see, just his body, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. So I think that was photo of the week, though, when Kevin from Detailing World was with me and Francis.
Yeah.
And Francis is about 5 foot, and Kevin's another one of those 6'8" guys. Yeah. And it just looked like we were really well out of sorts there with that group. So
that's hilarious. Funny. All right. Quality Car Care says, good morning, team. Good to see you all at SEMA. Yes.
Yeah. Frank and Tony were in the booth. That was awesome.
Yes. Alex says, Hans. I think he means good morning, Hans. Roz Detail says, looking forward to the 2-day training next week with Keith.
Well, not with me, with Josh, and then
get Josh here.
This time around, I'm the sidekick, and Josh is going to lead the program. So
that's awesome. Which, speaking of training, today I'll be working on. We have a whole host of flyers that I've got to get out today. We have a whole bunch of really exciting trainings coming up for both November, December, and January. So stay tuned. Yeah. So stay tuned to and February. Lots of great stuff. So stay tuned to our social media and especially our stories for all of those coming up, because we have lots of good stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So make sure to watch that. All those flyers will get done today.
Yeah, lots of partners into the training center, not just Team PNS doing things, but lots of partners with us. So which is one of the favorite things we do, and one of the great parts about SEMA is we get to see all of our brands we collaborate with. So keep an eye on it.
Yes. So Quality Car Care, we're going to be ordering Stout and Reflect for sure. They're going to be great.
We'll let you know when they're available.
Anthony Brown Jr. I think Stout is today. We'll have to check with Bob, but I'm pretty sure Stout's available for order for distributors today. And then it goes live in a week. Reflect, I think we're still waiting on a couple weeks, but we'll make it quick. Anthony Brown Jr. I know the answer to this, but can you use Stout on vinyl wraps and PPF? Dave.
For sure.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We tested it. And that was one of the things, that was a quality that we really wanted in our coating, was that it could go on vinyl wraps and PPF, right? We wanted it to be able to go on, have zero issue, not change the effect. Even on matte paint, works great. And then the other thing is we wanted it to be able to be used on wheels and trim. That was the other thing we forgot to mention, because Legend, we couldn't put on trim. We could, but you had to be really diligent in the wipe off. So we just told people maybe don't put it on trim. So Stout can go on trim as well, with no issue. And so that was one of the biggest things, was we wanted it to be able to go on any surface. So absolutely, vinyl wraps and PPF, it's going to be great.
All right. We have a technical question for Dave and I. And this is a two-parter, so we'll let this one go. Here we go.
Corey Taylor says, I have a gallon of leather care. I've had it for about 5 to 6 months, and I transferred it into my little squeeze bottle. It doesn't smell like leather anymore. It has a funny, weird smell when I put it in my car.
Not done. Keep going.
Okay. It does dissipate after about 30 minutes. So I've been using it still, and it still seems to be effective. Would you still use the product? So he's talking like the leather conditioner.
Leather treatment.
Double block. Yeah, leather treatment.
Yeah, we're familiar with this, and it's not our favorite feature. It seems to come and go. I would say it's not going to hurt your product, and if it goes away in 30 minutes, yes, I definitely say that's no problem.
Yeah, but it's going to, Corey, this is not going to improve, right? So this is a situation where if it takes much longer, stop using it, and hit me up today, Corey, and I'll work on it, because there's always, and we should say this about any chemical, there's always a point at which you've had it for months or a year, and products don't stay stable necessarily once they've been opened for a long period of time. And it sounds like this one may be starting to get to that point where it maybe is just not viable or is getting close to not being viable. And we would rather, you stop using it than have a problem. So always err on the side of caution there.
Good advice. Yeah, my only experience with this is that I don't use leather treatment a ton. And even when I do use it, it takes me forever to go through a bottle just because it so much spreads such a long way. And so for me, I got a gallon and I just don't, it takes me forever to go through a pint, even though I'm using it. It's just you don't use as much as, say, a spray product. Yeah. And so for me, I found that I don't go through the product fast enough to have a gallon, because now my gallon is like 4 or 5 years old at this point. And so if it's a product that you don't go through fast enough, you might want to just keep getting it in the pints versus the gallon for that purpose. Because like we said, once that gallon is opened, it kind of starts that time ticker, so for sure. I learned that I got to just stick with it in the pints for sure. Yeah. All right. Quality Car Care. Reflect is amazing. I saw and checked it out at the SEMA show. You can see the crystallizing in the bottle, so it must be a true SiO2 infused glass cleaner. Can't wait to get it.
Yeah, we will be trying to make sure that doesn't happen. But I'm glad at least it's serving a bit of a purpose at this point. But I will continue to try to get that stuff to not do that.
Chad says, Sydney, you are truly blessed to have the opportunity to step out of the shop and work with such an incredible company like PNS. Yes, for sure. It's something every full-time detailer would dream of. Thanks for providing quality and value for us. Well, you're welcome. Thanks for saying that.
Feelings are mutual.
Yes.
Believe me.
Yes.
Yeah. Although I think on Friday she was just not done with us, but
yeah. It's a new week. No, last week was great. I did almost die, but last week was great. But I almost died from my own stuff, not because I was working the booth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was my own issues. Yeah. Satin vinyl wrap. Absolutely, Anthony. So that is what's great about the wrap, is that it does not change whatever the surface it's going on. It just enhances that surface. So if it's matte, if it's satin, if it's glossy, it's just going to protect and enhance the natural, gloss or shine. So, I put it on a matte Hummer and did not change the sheen at all. It just made it gorgeous. So yeah, we're good. Raw's detail. Looking forward to the two. Oh, we already got that one.
Yeah, some of these are popping up twice. And I think it's multi-platform stuff.
Well, Dave, when will the PNS body wash be launched?
Isn't it launched?
Yeah, it's been out for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the body wash we're talking about, kids.
Oh, body wash. Yes.
Body wash.
The cosmetic version.
Oh.
I picked that one up pretty quick.
So Hans, we have a product called Body Wash. That's why I'm saying that. We have a product called Body Wash in the Chemtrol line, but don't use it on your body.
No.
Wrong body. Riley.
Yeah, the not tailored towards human.
Yeah.
I mean, trying not to make you break out in a rash.
Yeah, right. B. Riley says, at some point, someone thought about setting a green coffee bean on fire, beating it with a hammer, and then making a tea from it. Someone has to be first. Yes. I think he's referring to why do I do crazy stuff with the product? Somebody has to do it, right? Gabriel, I'm a bit late, but I'm here. Good morning, Dave, Keith, and Queenie. Good morning, Gabriel.
Good morning.
Turbo 6 says, Alex Dewar, spray and walk sounds amazing, especially for off-road tires. Absolutely. Man, on those off-road things, I just spray the entire thing down.
Slather it up, baby.
Shock, all of it. And then, yes, this is Tony. It was great to see you, Tony, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by. Two Shine says, good morning, all. Good morning. Gabriel, Dave, Bob mentioned at SEMA that you were working on 2 other polishes. Of course, the Rehab and one finer. Can you promise that you keep making Envy?
Envy will
Bob giving away all the secrets in the SEMA booth.
Yeah, but Envy has been already in the conversation, and I can speak this one because we've had that conversation. Envy will not go away. Now, It may get a facelift on the
Facelift.
name because we're changing some things there. But no, envy will not go away.
Right.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited, about some new products coming. So that's enjoyable. But yes, they are a bit off into the future.
Yeah. To shine. Good morning and thumbs up. Anna, my largest concern with coatings is the rain, especially before full cure. Is there anything I can do to help? How does Stout do in this situation? So Stout has a pretty fast surface cure. And so, and Dave can speak more to this, but for this coating, we don't necessarily recommend a topper, whereas with Legend, we always said absolutely use Defender. With Stout, you can or you don't have to. The beauty is that the surface is kind of like life cured pretty quickly. And then it's fully cured within about 48 hours. So much faster than, previous coatings. And so really, Dave, what would be your suggestion for people? Like say they do the coating and it's literally raining when the car needs to be picked up. Would you put Defender over it or no?
Yeah, I think in that case I would. I mean, we've typically said that, like the surface of Stout, the result surface of Stout a little bit better than the surface Defender, but Defender is going to help protect it. So if you've got to get back out if you've got to get that car back out, I think that is probably the one application or the time that I would go for Defender versus just waiting for a month and using it as your maintenance product. Yeah, I think that would be a good application for it.
Yeah. But otherwise you probably don't need a topper, but if you do have some sort of, wind, rain, ice, snow, I would still use it as that sacrificial layer. But the beauty is that the new coating cures pretty fast. So hopefully that will help us escape some of those days. All right, we got to go into speed round here. I gotta work in 6 minutes. All right, speed round.
You want that one back? There you go. Here we go.
Coatings shouldn't be an issue with water or rain. Coatings just don't need to use chemicals while on curing. Anna, I have been avoiding coatings because the rain just worries me, and I know my few clients would be worried too. It pours for days here in the PNW. I think that, if you can see that you kind of have a window, I've had customers that worry about that too, but generally not, because rain itself is not so much of an issue, like more temperature changes. And the only time I've seen a coating actually have a weather issue is when it was really windy, rainy, and there was leaves, and the leaves fell on the car and sat with water and the leaves on the car. That's literally the only time I've seen rain affect a coating, and the leaves like left an imprint in the coating. And so things like that you want to watch out for. But if we're literally just talking about rain, you're probably fine. I've released a lot of coatings in the rain. And so, I would just figure out what the weather looks like. And if it's supposed to be really gnarly, just ask them to park the car for 24 hours, 48 hours. But it is the new coating is pretty much fully cured within 48 hours. So that should help you a lot there versus, when we used to say, try to wait 7 days to get it wet. So I think you'll enjoy it because it's definitely come a long way in that area.
And in the Pacific Northwest, especially, avoid the pine needles as well. Those things are acid filled. So.
And honestly, Anna, I have to be honest here, through our testing, because we did a lot of testing, and we were spraying them with pressure washers 24 hours later. Like, I have to be honest here, did not affect the coating at all. And I'm talking like pressure washer for a long time. Yeah. And so, because we were trying to kill them. So I promise you rain's going to be okay, because sprayed the living daylights out of it with a pressure washer less than 24 hours a lot of times. So I think that rain's going to be okay. Anthony, so do you recommend using paint prep True View before reflect, or just going straight to reflect? It depends on how dirty the windows are. So obviously on the outside, I'm guessing you've just washed the car, so they're going to be pretty clean. So go straight to reflect on the outside. On the inside, the only time that I still grab True View is if there is actually material on the window. So kids, gummy stuff, dog nose prints, if there's like matter, gross, or smoke or something like that, I would clean it with TruView. Yeah, clean it with TruView
smoke
first.
for sure. I mean,
yeah,
it'll handle little well,
for sure.
right?
It'll handle a lot, but if they're dirty, I would pre-clean the inside, and I'm talking dirty. But generally, you should be able to go to just reflect unless there's grime.
And quite frankly, if it's a smoke situation, I mean, you might just have to use reflect twice. But you have a dirty towel and all that sort of stuff, so you have complications.
Right. And I had a car that did have, and it was something else. It wasn't smoke. It was something else. And what I did was I took a towel soaked in Absolute, wiped down all the interior windows, and then finished them with Reflect. So you can kind of switch it up and see what works for you. But I would pre-clean if they're really dirty. Alan just made it gorgeous. Should be on a t-shirt. I'm not sure what he's referring to there, but
was there something earlier?
Probably.
Well, actually, I think Alan, the t-shirt should be "It's my favorite."
It's my favorite. Yep.
What are you talking about?
Real. How do you know if a product is a positive or a negative charge, Dave?
It's actually a challenge. Because I mean, it's you got liquid in a bottle. I mean, so I've run into that too when I'm looking at other people's products and I go, well, is this cationic or anionic? Some cases you can pour a known in there. So if you have an anionic or a negatively charged product, you kind of start mixing things together and see if they cloud up. But it's not that easy to find out just by looking at a bottle.
Yeah.
When you know the molecule, that's how when you know the molecule you're dealing with, you know how the charge is set up on the molecule, but that's about it.
I know because Dave tells me. That's what I
know. B. Riley, yes, this is totally my fault. He says, these are the episodes where I missed the podcast feed for what it's worth. Yes. I will try to get back on that. It takes a lot of time and it's a little bit difficult, but I will try to get back on that. And he's talking about putting it on Apple Podcasts every week. So yes, it's just one of those crazy things where I can't stress enough that if we could find extra minutes in our week, this year's been a little bit crazy for all of us. So hopefully, a lot of people asked about, because obviously, Dave, you're here. Everybody knows that we're just about a year into the merger with ATG. And I think we're finally starting to kind of find our groove, right? But it's been a crazy year. It's been we've all been, to say tapped out would be putting it lightly. And so some things like, putting stuff on the podcast has been, kind of moved to the wayside because there was other more pressing things. But I'm hoping, and I'm very, we're definitely finding our groove. So, this coming year, some of those things may not be as much of a challenge. So I will definitely try. I'll put that on my list that there's still people out there that would like this in podcast form. Gary Wall. So if I have a foot of snow in the car, put Clean Maker away. Gotcha. Yes. Hans. So only use the body wash that you have now on people that I don't like so much. Good to know. Sure.
don't think it would hurt them if you dilute it right, but yeah.
Yeah, I just don't generally wash other people, but go for it. Ross, sorry about the double comment. You're good. Joe Kimball, Dave has a bright future as a radio DJ. Listen to that voice. There's a retirement idea, Dave.
What's funny is that, I can't hear my voice. Like when you hear your voice
on
a recording, you go, well, that's not what I hear at all.
Right. Totally. Isn't that the weirdest thing? I think that's the craziest science. So when I listen to stuff back, I only hear my sister. I don't hear myself. I hear my sister talking because my sister and I have the exact same voice. And she says the same thing. She's like, well, when I talk, I hear you. But so that is the weirdest thing. Like I don't,
Bob and
what
I
sound like
thing.
Listening back isn't at all what I sound like to myself.
On the phone, we get the same thing on the phone. It's like, oh, yeah. Bob, Dave, it's like nobody seems to be able to tell. I mean, I think our voices sound completely different. That'll be the thing. And so I have a voice for radio or a face for radio. Right.
There you go. All right. B. Riley says, please bring the small bottles for the new polishes. I'm excited to be able to use Rehab, but only polish 5 years. So yeah, so Rehab is in an 8 ounce. I promise it won't go any smaller than that though. It just wouldn't make sense to only have 4 ounces. So yeah, 8 ounce. And then I'm sure that we will continue that trend with the new products when they arrive. So the 8 ounce was definitely something that was asked for, and it has been great so far. So
I know the 8 ounce bottle, really nice.
Yeah, they are really nice.
It is kind of just the sweet spot. It's just perfect. I love them.
Yeah, you don't need the 16. You need the quarts to refill it and the 8 ounce, because it's so much easier. And like, for those of us after we've learned efficiency trips, it's like, don't walk back to your counter to refill your pad. It's like, take it with you. And so we have like, little moving trays, but you want like the smaller size, or you have it in a belt, right? That's a good way to do it too. And so, yeah, you got to have, and then for me, I don't want to tip over a quart every time I'm refilling my pad. It gets heavy. So I love the 8 ounce bottle. Ron, good morning. Sorry I'm late. I was assessing a truck for a detail. Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go. First from Puerto Rico. Hey, Ron. And then we've got Kron. What is the best soap to use when doing a touchless wash?
So we have a touchless wash product in the pro line called Turbo Industrial. Mm-hmm. So that would be the best one, because you need this really aggressive surface clean. It will foam if you put it through a foamer. It dilutes out quite a bit. I think as far as customer appeal, like using it as like a hand application sort of thing, it's not there. It's definitely a functional cleaner, but that's what we use in a touchless wash.
Right. Challenge with that product is only available in a 5, and you can only get it through a distributor. So you'll have to hit them up if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. I think probably our best fit for Joe consumer and worldwide web sales would be Frostbite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Frostbite. And here's my opinion on this, because I do have an opinion on this, because I hear this a lot. So touchless, if you think about cleaning anything else, right, that has contamination, your kitchen sink, could you just spray bleach in it and rinse it? I don't know that if you really did surface test, if it would really get everything off. If you think about your mouth, if you only rinsed your mouth with mouthwash and didn't brush your teeth, maybe not. So my thought here is the touchless, Frostbite's going to get you about 75% of the way there. But the most important part of a car wash is to decontaminate the surface, because once it's dry, or even during the drying process, you want to make sure all that contamination's off. But then as you drive down the road, if there's still contamination on the surface, it just picks up the dirt faster. The car's going to get dirtier faster. So I think that the thought of a touchless wash, we've made soaps so safe now for contact washes. The materials, the wash mitts and the sponges that are created now are so safe that I still think you're better off doing a contact wash. Frostbite's a great pre-spray, pre-foam. And there's so much out there that has made contact washes safer that I am of the opinion you're always going to get a better result with a contact wash. Especially as a consumer, there's definitely touchless drive-throughs, but I mean, those products, and I think Dave, you would agree, the products and what has to be in that product to get a vehicle clean without contact are pretty harsh chemicals.
I think Keith's probably got more experience than both of us on this, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, the flip-flops that a touchless wash product or, commercial touchless wash have to go through to make this happen are crazy. And even they, a lot of times just give up. So it's tough.
Yeah, touchless washes, just for everybody's edification, you're running a 2 or maybe a 2.5 on the pH on the acidity, which for a car wash product is extremely, aggressive. And then you're running in the 12 to 14 range for the alkalinity. And so what I'm going to tell you on touchless washes is they are not touchless. So we talk 5 factors of cleaning. One of them is friction. You get the friction, and the chemical function is one thing, but you get the friction from high pressure in a touchless wash. So technically, you look at a touchless wash, you're actually getting friction. It is literally the pounding of the high pressure. And we run some ungodly high pressure washes when we do a touchless wash. So it's really kind of a misnomer. You're better off with a gentle, cloth surface that's clean, like a fresh mitt, whether that is a microfiber mitt or whether it's a sponge, and using a well-emulsified surface with a good lubrication than you are in a lot of cases of using a very harsh chemical with a lot of pressure. So you can get there any number of ways, but quite frankly, in the detail space, the time, effort, and energy to do a touchless wash takes longer than it does to do a good friction wash with good emulsification and a good cleaning media. It really does. I get what some folks are saying. If you're doing, if you've got the contract to clean all the Amazon trucks in your neighborhood, and that happens a lot, I get hit them with the soap, pressure wash them off, and down the road you go, because you're knocking off daily dirt. But I don't think for a detailer that going touchless is maybe something I would recommend.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So many good mornings and hellos. You guys are all so nice to each other. Right, Ron. Sydney and Keith, will you be at the training at Wipe On, Wipe Off in Pittsburgh and Massachusetts?
Well, 50% of us is 100% yes. 50% of us is I haven't asked her yet.
Right, yeah. I was going to say. Yeah, my January, February is already looking a little crazy. So this is me, every time. This was me at SEMA. Every time somebody was like, are you going to this? I was like, oh. We got to be home for a minute. We'll chat about that. We haven't really gotten into next year past January yet. Ron, that's about a half an hour drive from me. Awesome. Wild Lenny, yo, what's up? What's up? Why should I use that? Okay, so this obviously sometimes gets hard because we don't know at what point this came in, but he's saying, why should I use that instead of something like these, instead of something like a spray wax? So I'm assuming this question.
So I think
spray way. So the glass cleaner. Okay, I totally read that wrong. So I was thinking, what is he talking about? Spray wax. A spray way. So why would he use Reflect instead of something like spray away?
Spray way is a nice product. I mean, they do a good job. I think that Reflect's a little slipperier. Spray away, I think, probably has more of an opportunity to use on a little bit dirtier glass.
Yeah, so for sure.
So it's a little bit of a trade-off. I think if your glass is just kind of lightly dirty, then you're probably gonna be happier with Reflect. If you've got a little bit more dirt on it, you might be happier with spray away.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what I do. I use if those cars come in with primarily what I get, because of the clientele I have, everybody has a dog, and so I have dog nose whatever all over the windows all the time, and so I do like to use a product like spray away because I spray it on the surface and I let all those bubbles kind of start to loosen all that stuff, and then I go back over Reflect. So there's still a spot for that for sure. But I probably only do that on 1 out of every 8 cars. So Tony says, what's the dilution ratio for body wash in a bucket and a foam cannon?
It's about 200 to 1. It's pretty concentrated, and you'll still get a lot of foam, and that foam's going to last in the bucket. Foam cannon, I think, I guess the end dilution would end up being about the same, but with the pre-dilution and the dilution after using all that sort of stuff, it depends on your foam cannon.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We're there. We made it to the end. We survived.
Wow.
One last one from Joe Walensky. We'll let him go.
Yes. Thank you guys for another great morning. And thank you again for the opportunity to represent PNS last week. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joe.
Awesome to have you in the booth. And we were so honored to have you there. And so last thing, Keith, let's run through upcoming events. I know obviously this week we're going to be in Roseburg, and we have a couple spots left open for that. And then you are at the training studio next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but special guest trainer is Josh Pierce.
Yeah, so Josh will be there. We have a couple slots left for the coding class, which will be a Stout class on Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday are Well, Monday's full for that class. We have one slot left for Tuesday's detail class with Josh, which you should be there for. And then we actually take a nudge of a break because we all got to do this Thanksgiving holiday thing. And then after that, we have a coding class in Colorado with Sydney and Bob, followed by the shop crawl in Colorado with Sydney and Bob. I will be at the Dirt Expo in Phoenix that same weekend, which is the first weekend of December. And then I'll be in Colorado the following week in Grand Junction, I believe it's Grand Junction, to do a detailing event the following week. So I will get to Colorado. I'll just be late.
And I have to back you up just a little bit. Right before the coding class in Denver, we have a Rupes training at PNS Hayward on the 3rd and 4th of December. Yes. So we have Rupes, Todd Helm, and Daryl Baker and they will be doing day 1 will be random orbital training, and day 2 will be the one tool, which will be the duetto. So we have special guest trainers coming in from Rupes the 3rd and the 4th, and then moving on to Denver.
Right. And I think we'll pretty well wrap up for the year by mid-December. There may be a special appearance by Sid or I in Hayward for holiday festivities. I do want to give a shout out to SoCal Wholesale. We'll do the Christmas party around the 16th, I think it is. It's that Monday in December. And then we get into January, and January is a coding only training month. So we haven't picked the dates yet, but it looks like that will be all Stout training for that week that we do the training. And there'll be a special distributor day for that as well. And then we're off to Mobile Tech. And then after that, it just gets pandemonium. We'll just cover that later. Yeah. And so for those questioning, because I know it's trade show season and it's literally 2 months and 2 weeks away is Mobile Tech. So just everybody do your math. Mobile Tech will be a 20 by 20 PNS booth. It'll be all the brands will be in their own corners, if you will. So we're taking over the whole floor. So come see us at the 20 by 20 booth at Mobile Tech. We'll be up toward the front this year. So
nice. Mobile Tech's a great show. If you haven't been, it's the one for detailers to not miss. It's all about you. The training day is invaluable.
Yeah, sign up for the education day. That is the day to be there. So, but in between, we'll make some stops along the way. So,
awesome. Well, so in 2 weeks we'll have Bead Maker and Coffee again. My co-host that day will be Lindsay Rose. It's going to be following her, her first official Stout training. It'll be our first one in the field. So obviously we had the first secret one. And then we'll have her this week, which will be the first official Stout training that we can talk about and take pictures. So that'll be exciting. And Dave, thank you so much for joining me on this early morning. We very much appreciate it.
You. I think Lindsay's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that should be fun. It'll be a good time. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. I know, I had the cameo, so I said I was there Tuesday through Thursday. So you guys had more work put into SEMA than I did. So thanks for rallying.
We always joke and say Dave flies in like a rock star. He flies in and flies out like the rock star. So.
Well, when you're the guy who makes all this stuff, you've done a little work before you got there.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, thank you guys. Right. You guys have a great week. Hopefully everybody's feeling back to almost normal and ready to rock and roll.
Here we go.
Yep. All right. Let's close out the year in style.